In the year 2019, I did a set of videos preparing Kenyans for some very, very hard times ahead. Yeah. And in those videos, we discussed survival and even prosperity during hard times or despite hard times. And to be totally honest with you, at the time, I didn't quite understand why I was doing those videos. I didn't. Okay? But it pleased Almighty God, yeah, that He pushed me in that direction to do those kinds of videos. And then in 2021, with the pandemic manenos, some people wrote back and told me, Grace, your predictions have come to pass. You saw this much earlier than it came. And within that period, I gained thousands of new subscribers. Well, I'm here today to tell you those people were very wrong. I was wrong to assume that that time had come. Folks, my dear friends, that time is now upon us. What do I mean? This is what I mean. Financial hardships, yeah, like we have never, ever before seen in our entire lifetimes, and maybe in the lifetimes of our parents. I'm serious. The kind of food shortages, oh yes, that we have never seen before. Now in the 80s, there was a serious shortage of maize in Kenya, prompting the late President Daniel Toroitich arap Moi to import a lot of yellow maize, yeah, from somewhere in the Americas. I just want to tell those who were alive at the time, yeah, old enough to know what was happening, that was nothing compared to what is coming. Now, a word of caution. I know the UDA supporters who never miss my videos. And I know they'll tell themselves, this is another UDA bashing video. No, it isn't. This video is to help all of us prepare. Yeah? The issue of whose fault it is, whose fault it was, the impact of the world economic recession, etc., etc. All those kizungu mingi will not help us right now. What will help us is to prepare. And there's something else very important that will help us survive this, yeah, which I'll cover towards the tail end of this video. For avoidance of doubt, this is not a political video. It isn't. Yeah, and it is not a video to bash the William Samoei Ruto presidency. It isn't. This is a video covering one topic: survival. Yeah, surviving what is coming. Now I know a lot of you missed my 2019 videos. And so, let me do a very quick recap of what we covered then, what I was led to cover. Number one, you really have no option but to grow your own food, as much of it as you possibly can. Now I'm well aware of the fact that many of us live in apartments. We live in cities with rules and regulation. Hakuna ukulima hii eneo. Ukitaka kulima, rudi mashambani, kwenda ushago. Ai, wewe nini? I'm well aware of all that. Yeah. But it is very possible to have a small kitchen garden. And I mean virtually anywhere. Let me share a personal testimony. You see, I grew up mtoto wa town. Yeah, I was the son of a cop who kept on being transferred all over the place. countrywide. And strangely enough, that prepared me for what I'm doing now. Anyway, I never knew much about farming. I hated farming. I looked down upon it. That was before 2019. But what happened in that year is that I went very seriously into something called vertical sack farming, where you use a very limited space to plant a lot of food. Okay? And I was assisted greatly by my late wife. She grew up on a farm, so she knew a lot of things I didn't know. And I learned so much. Looking back, I'm sure that was part of her work. Before proceeding to dance with the angels after her term was up. But my point is, I learned a lot. And I started from hating it to being an expert of sorts. I'm now in the process of starting to experiment, or is it to develop into the next level using the material you see on your screens right now, which is neater and has a few advantages and can be put anywhere, even in a neat balcony in some apartments. The other option here is to store food. Store as much food as you possibly can. Food can be stolen, as opposed to your own kitchen garden, where you harvest according to your needs. And it is something that will not attract the attention of thieves who want something immediately. Point number 2, which is also very important: review your security arrangements. Review and review again and review again your security arrangements at your home. Very important. And your emphasis should not be on keeping out burglars. You can do that as well, but that should not be the emphasis. Your emphasis should be on keeping out people determined to break in, who are not even pretending, who are not hiding, but they're just breaking in as you watch or as you scream. Now, it is very important that you note, I'm not trying to scare you. What we're doing here is a survival video. And the last very important point is review your surroundings, assuming that there was a serious problem of flood waters, too much rain. Okay, just review that with the worst case scenario on your mind. Now, I've not touched on the issue of money and earning money, because where we're going, you may be in a situation where you have the money, but you cannot purchase the food for some reason. Either it is not there, or you cannot get to it. Whatever may be the case, you may not be able to purchase food, even if you have the money. Now, as promised earlier, the most critical point to your survival. Now, we've said this many times on this channel. We are passing through the season of judgment. Okay? And yesterday, I heard a servant of God say, judgment must run its full course. And so, your personal relationship, personal, not the relationship of your father, your mother, or your wife, or your spouse. No. Your personal relationship with the chief judge, the one who is bringing this judgment upon the nation called Kenya, is going to be critically important to your survival. Now, before I go, I have something that will be very useful to very many people on this channel. You see, the audience this channel reaches is very unique. We have many Kenyans, regulars on this channel, who are in the diaspora. We have many Kenyans in very senior positions in our country and living within the borders of Kenya who are regulars on this channel. We have many politicians who are regulars on this channel. That is a very unique audience. And in case you have a service or a product that you think this particular audience will be very interested in, and it is something genuine, something that will add value to their lives, something that will help Kenyans through these very difficult times, also through these very dangerous times. In case you have such a product or service, I will be very interested in partnering with you, and indeed even doing a video, a special video, focused on your product or service. And of course doing it in an interesting way, introducing a new interesting angle, not from your point of view, from the point of view of your potential customer, from the point of view of your most satisfied customers. So if you're in business, drop me an email. You can see the email address on your screens right now. As my contribution to Mother Kenya at this difficult time, I will do that video for you completely for free, using my voice, using my talent, using the knowledge I have gained over the years, to be able to communicate to your potential audience, potential customers, in a way that it will be very difficult for you to communicate to them anywhere else. Okay, so I think you should take full advantage of this limited opportunity. Of course, I'll only take a limited number of businesses. Na sio maringo, it is because it's not practical to do so many. So I'll just do a few as my contribution. Of course, I'll ask for a small fee for my time, but of course it will be a pittance, a fraction of what you'd have normally paid to reach such an audience. So all you have to do is drop me an email, give me as much detail about your business as possible, send me your telephone number, if possible, and I will get back to you after I've done my research on your company, your business, etc., etc. I have my way even to be able to reach your customers, your current customers, those who are satisfied. And if I think that you have something that will add value to the lives of Kenyans, I will do that for you. And I'm sure it will be of great benefit to you. And also it's yet another way to support this channel and to support our cause here for a better Kenya. It is all in line with that mission of a better Kenya. Has this video made you intrigued about the presidency, especially the Kenyan presidency? Or have you always been fascinated by this office? Well, I have a recommendation to make. I have an eBook titled Dark Secrets of the Kenyan Presidency. Many of you have already read it, but many of you have also not read it. But that's not all. I have also adapted most of the book into videos, and you can receive both the book and the videos based on the book in your email, in the next few seconds. You can see the offer on your screens right now, only $8.99. And I will even throw in something more, 3 months free membership to my weekly intelligence briefings. Now that has to be the offer of the year. So take full advantage of it. It will not last for long, just 1 or 2 days. So please rush and make sure that you get hold of Dark Secrets of the Kenyan Presidency. It has some very fascinating stories, most of them never before told. I'm sure you've never heard those stories. And they're not just stories, reality deep in State House. Okay, it is a super fascinating read, and also super fascinating to watch those videos. Dark Secrets of the Kenyan Presidency is a book like no other I have ever written. And for me, it was a very emotional experience. I started writing it in 2008, when the horrors of the 2007-2008 clashes were still very fresh on my mind. Untold horror that no Hollywood movie can ever match. And I knew then, more than anybody else, that indeed in Kenya, politics is a matter of life and death. And so writing this book was a journey of learning for me, and a very steep learning curve, for me. I finally completed it one day in 2009. The time was 3 or 5 a.m. I was exhausted, drained, and what is more, I had no idea what kind of contraption I had come up with. Was it good? Was it worth the read? Was it interesting? Because no matter how important your message is, if you do not deliver it in an interesting way, if you bore your audience, the message will never reach home. Looking back today, the reaction has always been very positive for this ebook. Some have called it a thriller. Many others have said it has changed forever the way they look at Kenyan politics. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.